This is the Jocko Underground Podcast, number 53. Sitting here with Echo Charles. EC, already having a rough morning over there on your side.
Doing great.
Been a rough morning for you.
Feel like
I mean, you've been here for 7 minutes. It hasn't been pleasant for you.
I'm doing the best I can.
Okay. So you're still keeping a positive attitude.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting that the way the world works, right? Everybody's allegedly different, right? Everyone's a different person. And yet there's all these categories that you can put people in.
Yeah.
And somebody asked me about this the other day, the whole introvert, extrovert thing. It's a thing, right? Which is interesting that you can say that these radically different individualistic human beings, they all can be put in these categories.
Mm-hmm.
So introvert is a person, and this is from WebMD.com. I'm citing my sources.
Sure, yeah.
Introvert is a person with the qualities of a personality type known as introversion, which means they feel more comfortable focusing on their inner thoughts and ideas rather than what's happening externally. They enjoy spending time with just one or two people rather than large groups or crowds. They have a list of things here. Need quiet to concentrate, are reflective, are self-aware, take time making decisions, feel comfortable being alone, don't like group work, prefer to write rather than talk, feel tired after being in a crowd, have few friendships but are very close with these friends, daydream or use their imaginations to work out a problem, retreat into their own mind to rest. Where are you at? Is that you?
That's the main two that I heard as far as the differentiators between introvert and extrovert. Actually, because I did hear on one hand where it's like, oh yeah, that's not real or whatever. And then
wait, what's not real?
Introvert versus extrovert.
Okay.
But I put it this way, I wasn't like convinced, put it that way.
Okay.
I thought there really seems like there is such thing as introvert because, you can just think of your friend
Well,
or
there's
somebody.
two more we're going to get to. We're going to get to two more. One's an Omnivert and one's an Ambivert. We're going to get to them in a second.
Yeah,
so there's other
never heard of that.
facets rolling in here.
Yeah, but the ones, the two defining characteristic, whatever, for introvert, and it's going to be opposite for extrovert, is the feel tired after being in a crowd.
Is that you?
Oh, me? I don't.
Wait, why are you signaling that one out?
Because that's what I heard as far as the actual definition.
Okay,
it has to do with like people, like you can be an introvert and still do well with crowds and talk good and like all this stuff and public speaking and all this stuff.
Draining.
It's draining. It takes energy. And then other people, but extrovert apparently, from what I heard, is they feel they're the opposite. When they're alone, they get like, this is like too much to be alone. I got to get out and have like people interaction.
I'm real weird because I don't care. I'll be alone and not care, just be totally stoked, whatever, sitting there, playing guitar, writing a book, just doing anything alone. I'm fine. Don't care.
Yes, you are weird.
Or I can be with people hanging out and I'm fine. I'm not, it doesn't use energy or anything like that. No, look, you take that to the extreme sometimes. Mm-hmm. You can be like, all right, I guess maybe this leads me towards introvert a little bit, but you take it to an extreme where you're at a thing and there's a bunch of people. Yeah. Then you really don't want to be around a bunch of people. So I guess that's makes me a little bit of an introvert a little bit more, but I actually don't care.
Yeah. Well, I guess, I don't know. I mean, if this is like a technical thing.
Actually, as I'm reading this, okay, let me go extrovert.
Yeah.
All right, wait, what's the technical thing? Because I cut you off.
No, well, as far as the technical thing, like if it's, how like you can be like, you can be in condition for certain things. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm kind of in shape for this, therefore it's not a factor. Running a marathon's not a factor for me. Yep. But let's face it, I'd rather do sprints or something like this, right, or whatever. So you might be kind of like that, where you can endure a lot of extrovert activity, but at the end of the day, you're an actual introvert. You're just in shape for the extrovert stuff.
Yeah, that might be right. Extrovert, here's a personality trait typically characterized by outgoingness, high energy, or talkativeness. In general, like it's so funny because I literally talk for a living. Mm-hmm. And if my wife and I go to a party where I don't know people, I'm not saying anything to anybody. Yeah. We're not talking to anybody. Or she can, but I'm like, hi. Yeah. So it says, in general, the term refers to a state of being where someone recharges or draws energy from being with other people. Here's some some highlights. You enjoy social settings. You don't like or need a lot of alone time. You thrive around people. You're friends with many people. You prefer to talk out problems or questions. You're outgoing and optimistic. You aren't afraid to take risks, and you're flexible. That's from Psychology Today, by the way, those two definitions. So the weird thing for me is I am super flexible.
Yeah.
And I take risks with I take risks very easily. I have no problem taking risks. I do talk through problems, but I actually usually think through problems, and I let other people talk about them, and I kind of solve problems by listening to other people talk. A little trick, a little bit of being detached. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's the extrovert. And I guess I do, as I'm sitting here reading these definitions, I guess I am more of an introvert. The weird thing is that I talk for a literal living. So then we get to the omnivert thing. The omnivert thing is, I'm trying not to read this whole definition. Some individuals can be both reserved and outgoing. They can assume the personality traits of both an introvert and an extrovert. That person's called an omnivert, all right? And then there's an ambivert, which is, ambiverts are those who score midpoint on the introvert-extrovert scale. They can be introverted or an extrovert depending on the context or how they feel at the moment. So this is kind of like just a catch-all. I mean, come on, bro. Yeah. What are we really doing here? Yeah. We're just saying like, yeah, hey, there's these two things, but you can actually be anything. Yeah, this is kind of weird, right?
That's what it seems like here. Yeah. Especially that last
this
one.
This just kind of like made me lose a lot of respect for this whole gig. I thought we had a big topic.
Unless these other people, the omnivert and ambivert, are like super rare. You know,
it's like saying, hey, a car can be either black or white, or it can be any other color. I think that's what we just did. We could have a big talk about, well, but these cars are black and these cars are white, and here white's a little bit cooler. Black shows up, more dirt, so it's a little bit of a problem, but it'd be warmer if you're in a cold climate. And so you kind of get in this discussion about black or white cars, and you're like, oh, but a car can be any color in the world. So this is kind of what we just got into here. Yeah, it makes me want to throw this whole conversation out the window, record a different podcast.
I don't know, man. It's kind of, like astrology, right? Where...
you mean like Sagittarius, that kind of thing?
Yeah, the zodiac signs and whatnot. Yeah. And you know how you read your daily horoscope, whatever. And it has all these things, and it's kind of the same deal. It's like, man, you're very reserved, but down to express feelings when needed. You know
what? I would be like back in the when I was a single dude. I'd be out, in some whatever bar, hanging out, talking to a girl. And, the girl will be like, what? Be talking for a while. I'm like, what sign are you? This is not 1970, by the way. Okay. This is like I guess in the 90s. A girl will be like, oh, what sign are you? And I'd be like, oh, I'm Sagittarius. And they'd be like, oh, I knew it. I knew you were. And then I say, oh, I'm actually not a Sagittarius. I was kidding. They'd be like, oh, what are you? And I'd say, Capricorn. Or is that a one?
Yep.
I'd be like, I'm actually Capricorn. They'd be like, oh, I knew it. And I would do this to him 4 times. Yep. And be like, this stuff is stupid, what you're talking about. Let's not play this game.
You must be on the cusp.
On the cusp of?
That's the thing.
Your moon is waning, Sagittarius.
You're the ambivert of Capricorn.
Oh, basically. Dude. So that's kind of what we're dealing with here. A little bit.
It feels there's some of those over undertones, whatever, of it.
I mean, look, we know shy people. Right. We know people that are introverted 100%.
Yeah.
We know people that are extroverted 100%. And we know people that are in between. Yeah. This is my point. I guess this is just more a description instead of just trying to categorize everybody. Because there's also people that are sort of introverted, but they also whatever.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the psychology stuff is... I say psychology. I do believe, and it is like legitimate stuff because it's just like studying people and personalities and commonalities and all this stuff. So it totally makes sense. Yep. So, but you're right. Just like how you're saying, like everyone's the same, but everyone's different. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, like you can categorize people, but you're going to find nuance and variation and stuff like that. So it's like, okay, now we got to categorize the nuance.
Yep.
So it feels like, I don't know. This is the first time me reading all this stuff with you. So, but that's what it feels like is going on. Maybe that's how astrology kind of got started. You see what I'm saying? Where like they were like, oh yeah, all these people were acting way different when they were born in December. And these people were acting way different because they were born in May. See what I'm saying? Then
Bro, I
there's
think
like,
this is a trash idea.
yeah, I think so too. But hey, I got to talk through it.
I've got like the definitions of Omnivert here and Ambivert. That is a little excerpt of what we are doing on the Jocko Underground podcast. So if you want to continue to listen, go to jockounderground.com and subscribe. And we're doing this to mitigate our reliance on external platforms so we are not subject to their control. And we're doing it so we can give you more control, more interaction, more direct connections, better communications with us, strengthen this legion of troopers that are in the game with us. So thank you. It's jockounderground.com. It costs $8.18 a month. And if you can't afford to support us, we can still support you. Just email assistance@jockounderground.com and we'll get you taken care of. Until then, we will see you mobilized underground.